Hey friends, welcome back. My name is Giovanni and welcome to Salt and Pepper Pickleball, where we bring that good old pickle and pasión. If you're new here, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Today we'll be talking about the Selkirk Project Labs 008 solid foam 10mm Invikta shape. So we're going to be talking about this guy right here. So this paddle is the Invikta shape. So this is Selkirk's elongated pickleball paddle, and it comes in at 16.45 inches long. The width here is going to be 7.45 inches wide. Then the handle length, when you measure it from the bottom of the butt cap to the to where the tape meets the throat, is going to be 5.5 inches. But for me, with the way that the bottom here is shaped, the throat here makes your hand feel a little, it makes it a little bit tighter for some odd reason. And I mean I can get my hands on there, but it's not, for some reason it's not as comfortable. And for some reason the octagonal butt cap, it's not sharp, but you feel it in the palm of your hand. Now, if you have a grip where your hand never even touches it, then you're not gonna have any issues. Or if you have that ping pong grip, I mean, you're gonna be way up here anyway. But if you're coming from tennis, possibly, you're gonna hold that paddle a little bit lower to where the butt cap actually sits in the meat of your hand on some shots. And these little edges kind of dig into your hand just a little bit. So I would notice that after about a game or two of play, that this little area on my palm would be slightly red and a little irritated, but nothing crazy. It didn't break skin, it didn't dry it up. I don't have a callus here. It didn't like build up a callus from being rubbed on so much, but it's just something that I noticed. So this here is the 13mm paddle. I mean, look at that. It almost, let me see. Yeah, it almost disappears. So, but this paddle does come in other thicknesses. It comes in a 13 and a 16, and of course the 10mm. But it also comes in 4 different shapes. So with the 4 shapes, you're going to get the Invikta, which is their elongated. Then you're going to get the Tour, which is also another elongated, but it has a longer handle at 6 inches long. Then they have the Epic, which is a standard shape pickleball paddle. And then they have their Maxima, which is their wide body shape. So this paddle is a full foam core pickleball paddle. So this paddle is made with Selkirk's pure foam technology, which is a nice way of saying that this is a full foam core paddle. And it has a nice and grippy T700 raw carbon fiber face that has been thermoformed. So this does have that pop, that T700 carbon fiber. Now it doesn't sound super gritty, but I'm telling you, I was able to really put some spin on the ball. I actually have, with this paddle, I have a really nice slice serve, and it just bites. Like when I hit the ball, you see that nice little curve going in to out, and then when it hits, it just takes off to the right. Or vice versa, when I hit it on the other side, I mean, you see this nice arc, and then it hits the service box, and then it just takes off to the left. So I was actually very impressed by the grittiness of this paddle, even though you don't really hear grittiness. But it does a really good job. So first things first, this thing is pretty. It's nice, it's sleek, it's thin. Selkirk definitely went full mad scientist on this one, in my opinion. The thinner 10mm profile instantly feels different in your hand. Kind of like they wanted to give you the punch of a Gen 1 or older style raw carbon fiber paddle with the polished feel of the Labs prototypes. Now, being an Invikta shape, it's longer. It's longer, so you get that extra reach, but it's still well balanced. I was expecting it actually to feel head heavy, but honestly the swing weight felt pretty manageable. So actually it was a little too light for me, and I actually had to bump it up just a little bit I ended up using Bodie Pickleball's tungsten tape that was a gram per inch, and I ended up using 3 grams, 3 grams on each side. And what I did was, because this is such a thin paddle, I actually had to cut the tungsten tape. I had to cut the tungsten tape in half, and then I put a 1.5 grams at the bottom locations here, and then I did a 1-inch slice, and then I put 0.5 gram up here at the top to make it nice and even, because this paddle feels a little bit more handle heavy than head heavy. So I bumped it up, and now it feels like it's very well balanced, and it feels great that way. So let's talk about what everyone is curious about: power. The 008 10mm definitely brings the juice. It's got that snappy trampoline feel, and the drives just rip, man. I'm telling you, they rip. And especially once I put the tungsten tape on it, whew, I was killing balls. But if you're a former tennis player or someone who loves to counterpunch with pace, this thing's going to make you smile. I promise you. But here's the thing. Because it's thin, the sweet spot isn't as forgiving as Selkirk's Vanguard or their Halo 16 lines. Miss just a little bit off center and you're gonna feel that vibration. Not crazy, nothing that's gonna hurt you or mess with your shoulder or anything, because like I've said in another past video, I have a very sensitive shoulder. I had no issues with this paddle playing with it. You do feel a little bit of vibration, but with this paddle, it makes you feel the ball and what's going on. Like, you can feel the reaction, you can feel the dwell time, you can feel if you're gonna hit a good shot or a bad shot, or just how much spin you're putting on the paddle. And I think that really has to be a benefit of playing with a 10mm paddle, because you can just feel everything. Like, this paddle talks to you in your hand. Now, spin-wise, it's that Selkirk Labs texture that I've only heard about and I'd never felt until I actually played with this paddle. It grips the ball beautifully. You can get some nasty dips and rolls if your technique is really dialed in. Like I said, with my serves, I finally learned how to hit a slice serve, and I mean, those balls were just hooking into the court and then hooking right back off. Like, it was really nice. The bite when the ball hits the ground is just insane. And then I've been using the new Lifetime balls just to test them out. The Lifetime Pickleball is just really good, and it kind of reminds me of a tennis ball. Like, it sits up a little bit higher. The bounce is a little more predictable for me coming from tennis. And it doesn't just die, and I don't have to like dip so far to like actually get the ball and things like that, especially with the hurt leg that I have. So, but control is where this thing gets interesting. For a 10mm paddle, it's surprisingly easy to reset with as well. I had to soften up my hands just a little bit, but once I got into the rhythm, dinks and blocks were totally doable. Just don't expect it to bail you out if your timing is off. You really do have to focus and watch what you're doing when you're using this paddle. So who's this paddle gonna be for? The 008. This paddle originally sold for $288. I just looked at Selkirk Labs website, and these are now $188, which I feel is what they should have sold for in the beginning. But honestly, I'd say that this paddle is perfect for an aggressive player. If you like to attack, counter fast, and play all up in your opponent's face, this is gonna work out beautifully for you. But if your preference is to grind at the kitchen and control the tempo of the game, you might want to look more towards the Vanguard Pro or the Halo series, but you're not going to get the pop and the power that you're going to get from this. You are going to be more consistent at the kitchen with those type of paddles. So overall, Selkirk Labs Project 008 Invikta feels like, it's just a mouthful to say. Feels like Selkirk's love letter to power players. I really feel like that. It's thin, it's fast, it's explosive, but still has enough control to keep you honest. If you've got clean mechanics and you want to play an offense-first style of pickleball, this thing is a blast for that type of player. But if you're newer and still finding your touch game, This is gonna take some time to tame. It's gonna take you some time to tame this beast. So guys, that's my take on the Project 008 Invicta 10mm. If you tried it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did it live up to the hype for you? Drop it in the comments below. Let me know. Until next time, you guys, remember, keep dinking, keep laughing, and keep playing pickle with pasión.